Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday, early afternoon, or late afternoon. Tonight we're going to be doing a Long Island. We're doing Wilford Estate Vineyards. Okay, this is the bottle right here. It's a 2019. Okay, it's the rosé. He makes four rosés. Okay, and this is the table, which is the least expensive of them. This came out for about $18, but rosés will come down in price because usually they're only good for a year or two. So you can buy this wine off season for 14. Still good, still drinks well for like 14, 15. But they want to move them because it's more. People think of it as a summer wine, and it really is a popular summer wine. It's becoming more popular. It's a trendy wine in the last 5, 7 years. Okay, now what they did is. They all came out with called the summer in a bottle, which was extremely successful for Wolffee. Okay, and the summer in a bottle sells for about 26. This would sell for 19. Okay, then they also make one now in Argentina under the Wolffee label because they own a vineyard in Argentina. They also own a vineyard in Spain. Okay, now Christian Wolffee purchased his first vineyard. He bought a home that had 14 acres in Sagaponic, just north of the highway. He had a little vineyard there he bought. He lived south, but he bought this little vineyard north. And I remember, back in the 80s driving by it, because I had a place out there then, and I still do, but you drive by and you see, I thought it was someone putting, vineyards on his personal property. And it started 14 acres, and it was an old potato farm. Then 10 years later, he bought more acreage, and he opened Sagapon Vineyard. Then, in 10 years after that, so now 88, now 98, he makes it bigger, and he opens up, it's 125 acres, with 25 acres for vineyard, the rest for the horse equestrian farm, world-class horse equestrian farm, jumps, everything, paddocks, beautifully done. Everything he does is tasteful. His vineyard is very laid back. His tasting rooms, and he does a restaurant there with nice food. It's shabby chic, very understated, but very smart and tastefully done. And what they have is in '92, Roman. Roth, a German, and Christian Wolffee was from Germany also. He was 17 years old. He was a venture capitalist, but at 17 he started as a bank teller. Then he worked for a chemical company. Then he went into an import-export business and did very well. Then he went into real estate in Canada, sold it to a lot of Europeans coming over from Germany, sold them a ton of properties, invested in properties. He did squash courts, tennis courts, indoor up in Canada. Then he came to the States, and so he built this winery, and he got a friend of his who was Roth, he got Roman Roth, who was from Germany, studied in Australia, studied in California, worked there. He always wanted to make a rosé. So in '92, his first year, and he became a partner right off the bat. They started making a rosé, and he told Christian he wanted to make a rosé, and he said, "I don't want sugar water. I don't want grandma's sugar water, a white Zinfandel watered down." What he did was he wanted a dry rosé, and it took a while to work, and they got it going. They worked it. They just started, back then they might do 1,000 cases, if that, maybe 1,000 bottles, okay? And it got better and better and better. Matter of fact, I think Ross, and they make excellent wines too. They're probably one of the better vineyards, without a doubt, on Long Island, okay? And it's a generational vineyard now, because now his daughter and his son are there. Remember I was saying yesterday you don't get generational vineyards? This is a generational vineyard. Okay, they've been around. Roth has been doing wines for more than half his life, okay? And he's very good at blending. Like this summer rose, okay, is this table wine, not the summer bottle, but the table wine is like 60 Merlot, where the summer in a bottle is 40. Chardonnay, this is 32. The other one's 22. And this has Cabernet Franc 5. The other one has Cabernet Franc, I think, 4, which is close. The others are down. But summer in a bottle, he puts 3 different wines in there. Okay, he puts a Riesling in there, which he doesn't put in the other one. Okay, he puts in a German Grützermeier, right? And he also puts in 2% Pinot Blanc. This, he actually uses 1/4% of a white grape, okay? So he uses, and 1% grits, and 5% cab. So they use in 5 different blends, but it's what God gives them, with the weather and the wines, how they mix them. Because in 2018, 17, they went from doing, 5 years ago, they were doing 16, they were doing fivefold what they were doing. Okay, they were doing 10,000 bottles. They did 70,000 cases of wine. I mean, that's mind-boggling. That's how much it grew. But this is their money. This is their money maker. Okay, this is. But their pride and joy is their white horse reds. Okay, and the white horse reds. They have one that they named after the Christian Wolffee was killed in 2009 down in South America in Brazil. He was out swimming. He was 70 years old, great shape. The guy was people loved him. He was very well loved in the East End and throughout the world, I guess. But in the East End, I know he was very well loved. But he was out there. He was swimming. Boat came by midday. He's out there swimming on the beach, and a boat came close to shore and hit him, and he lost his life. His daughter and son put more time in the vineyards. They worked there. They worked very well with Roman, and they have Richie Visconti is a manager at the vineyards too, and he's very good, well loved by the workers. They have a good work ethic there with their workers. Okay, when they go to pick grapes, they pick every grape by hand. They make sure, and then when at the sorting table, most sorting tables of vineyard this size have 8 people. They might have 30 people, making sure no bad grape goes in the blend. Okay, and this is done with a regular. This is done with a lees. Okay, the summer blend, summer in a bottle is done with more lees. They give it a little more cream. Okay, this is picked. They can pick this grape early. Okay. They can put, not too early, but it's picked early, so they don't have to worry about the rest of the season going bad on them, with the hurricanes and the other weathers, okay? And they do it in stainless steel so you get the good acidity, okay? So since then, they actually made a wine, the White Horse wine, getting back to the cab, they named it after Christian Wolffee. They made it in 2000. It got a 94. Okay, it was a 94 in 2000, made in 2018, but it was 2004. By the time they tasted it and graded it, and that wine sells for $125 a bottle. Now, here's a tip: if you ever see a wine that's an anniversary wine or named after somebody, special wine, they only do it because they know 3/4 of the season. They can tell great, all the weather conditions are great. A month before harvest, if everything's good, it's going to be a fabulous wine. So if they ever want to dedicate a wine to someone, dedicate that. I bought a Chianti years ago, but it was the 50th anniversary, okay, of a wedding, 50th wedding anniversary. They named it, and it was in Italy. They're not going to name it after their parents' wedding anniversary if it wasn't spectacular. It was spectacular, and you didn't pay that much more for it. Okay, because no one knew yet. But when you see that, that's a good tip, though. Now, Long Island, we got the ocean breezes, right? And they got 2 types of soil here, okay? They call it, it's Bridgehampton, okay? And the Bridgehampton soil, and it also has a soil they call Haven, okay? Now, one's a lighter soil and one's a heavier soil, okay? The Bridgehampton soil, okay, which it's there's a term for it, but it's a glacier soil, so it's a rocky. It's got more stone in it, so it's very good for drainage. Now this vineyard's right off Montauk Highway, but it's all farmland in there. But it is on a knoll. You know, it's a small, slight incline hills, so you don't need much. You get 8-10 feet, and you get the drainage, so it works very well. And it drains north and south. Like if you drive down there, it's a north and south. It's up on a hill, just a small sloping hill. But that's all the difference in the world, because then the grape never gets soggy and wet and mildewy, okay? And they're pretty sharp. I mean, they picked Hurricane Irene, when everybody was getting hurt with the wines, they went and they picked. He said, Roth went out and said, no, wait a while, give them 2 days. Boom, they let them go. They lost it. They puffed up, and then they came back. Then they almost turned to like raisins. About 5 days later, he goes, okay, now pull them. We'll still be able to make wine with them, but to get half the yield. Okay, so you only get maybe 25% of the yield. So instead of every grape being good, the grapes doesn't have as much juice, but it is sweet, and you can still get a good wine out of it. It's still got good juice to it, but you just don't get the yield out of it. Okay, now we'll try this wine. Twist off top, because this is, pop, when you talk about pop and pour, this is pop and pour. You don't hold these at all, Now, you see the pink in this, okay? You get that, they call it a bronze, right? Or a light copper color, okay? You get that, all the grape has to do is what they do is they peel the grape, the skin, and they express the juices. Okay, they hand pick all the grapes in this. Even on this, any grape, they pick all the hand grapes picked there. And what they do is they have grape pickers. They're very proud of their pickers. And what they do is they take this grape and they put the skins in just for a couple of days, and it gives it that nice pink. And then this is left in lees. Okay, this is like, you remember when Surly, when they had when they let it lay down, they keep this for 2 or 3 months. Okay, lay it down, in the fermentation. Okay, then they stir it. Maybe it's up to what they want to stir it 2 or 3 times. Now, if you have the bottle, summer in the bottle, that they put more in, so it's a little more creamier. Okay, and it has the Gretzamina, which is a little more, going to give it that taste. Okay, but that's amazing how they change their wines from year to year. And that's a successful business person. When you see somebody who has success and plays with it, because they know they don't have the right grape, it's somebody who knows what they're doing. I'm not a rosé drinker, but this is nice. You know what this is? This is clean, refreshing. And they're making these wines more and more for year-round. And that's what Wolffee is really pushing. They go to some of the better restaurants in Manhattan and stuff, try to get their wines in year-round. Okay, because it's a dry wine. This you can drink, you could have it at a picnic, you could have it on a barbecue, you could have it outside, great afternoon wine, but you can also have it with food. Okay, this pairs good with grilled chicken, grilled pork. You can have this with a salmon. You can have this with a soft cheese. And it's got structure. This is not, this is not your grandma's sweet pink rosé, It's a nice, dry, refreshing. I would put refreshing on this. And structure. It's got structure. This is not, this wine was always looked down by windies. It was always looked at like, a rosé. And he came along, and they're getting high regards. Throughout the world, this wine's considered one of the better rosés. Years ago, you had a Matousse rosé, right? Lance's rosé. They were sweet, inexpensive. These are nice, dry. I could call this gracefully complex. Because it's smooth, it's an easy drinking, finishing wine, but it's got complexity. This is a nice one. and tell me Christian always wanted a place in Argentina. So his son Mark and his daughter Joey went down, they bought one. They're hands-on at this vineyard all the time. But they have one in Spain, a small vineyard in Spain, and a bigger one in Mendoza. And now they're making that one of the rosés out of Mendoza. And they're getting into canned cider. And they buy their apples from local guys in Bridgehampton, East Hampton. And you get some good apples out there. You go to Milk Pail, you'll see what you pay for a bag of apples, $18. But they're very good apples. So he has his people he buys apples from, and they're getting into the ciders, and they're getting into a higher grade. I mean, they go from $125 bottle of wine to a $4, $3 can of cider. So listen, take care, and God bless. And you got those ocean breezes. They're only 2 miles from this place. It was so much to try to get in. It went a little long, but I'm trying to give you as much as I can. Okay? Good night. God bless, and let's be happy for everything we have. Okay? Let's not think what we don't have. Let's be happy for what we have, and let's remember to take our hat off and say our prayers for what we have, and for all those first responders, the doctors, the nurses, and everyone out there, from the person working in the grocery store to the guy driving the truck that's helping us out. Good night. God bless.